Okay, let's be real. For so many of us, the day just doesn't start until we've had that first cup of coffee, right? But what if I told you there's a better way? Today, we're going to dive into some incredible food alternatives that can seriously energize our mornings, maybe even better than our usual cup of joe.
You know that feeling, don't you? Your eyes are only halfway open, the world's kind of blurry, and you're just waiting for that caffeine to finally hit and clear out the fog. It's a feeling we all know. But what if we could just switch on our brains without that desperate wait? So let's break down the real difference here. On one side, you've got the coffee jolt. You know what I'm talking about. That sudden, intense spike of energy, maybe your heart starts racing. And then, boom, the inevitable afternoon crash. But on the other side, you have the food boost. This is all about steady, nourishing energy. No jitters, no crash. It's about giving your body actual fuel, not just a temporary patch. All right, here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to look at fruits. Think of them as nature's alarm clock. Then, we'll get into proteins and other brain-fueling foods that give you that long-lasting focus. After that, we'll get into the science of why food and coffee work so differently. And finally, we'll wrap up with how you can wake up naturally. Okay, let's jump right in with our first category, fruits. I want you to think of these as nature's gentle but super effective alarm clock. They can definitely jolt you awake, but without that shaky, anxious feeling coffee can sometimes give you. First up is the good old banana. Now, don't let its simple look fool you. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. It's packed with natural sugars for a really quick lift, but it's also got vitamin B6, which is crucial for turning food into usable energy for your brain. It's like a soft, gentle nudge to wake up, not a loud, blaring alarm clock in your ear. Next up, we've got apples. So yeah, the natural sugars and fiber give you nice, stable energy. But what's really cool about an apple is how it fights off that tired feeling in other ways. First, its high water content helps rehydrate you after you've been asleep all night. And get this, the actual physical act of crunching into an apple sends a signal to your brain telling it to wake up and be alert. How cool is that? And of course, we can't forget about that zesty wake-up call you get from citrus fruits like oranges or lemons. They are loaded with vitamin C, which is a known fatigue fighter. But it's also a whole sensory experience, right? That bright smell, that tangy taste, it's an immediate jolt to your senses. It's kind of like splashing cold water on your face, but way, way more delicious. So, we've covered the quick boost you can get from fruits. Now, let's move on to the foods that are in it for the long haul. We're talking about proteins and other foods that give you that deep, lasting fuel for mental clarity and a focus that can stick with you for hours. And that brings us to eggs, breakfast's most reliable friend. Sure, they're packed with protein and healthy fats, but the real star of the show here is something called choline. Now, this is fascinating. Choline is a nutrient your brain literally uses to build chemical messengers for things like memory and mood. So, when you eat eggs, you're giving your brain the raw materials to build better communication lines. And this really gets to the core difference. Coffee just stimulates your nervous system, but eggs actually feed it. All right, now for a fun one, dark chocolate. Yes, you officially have scientific permission to have a little chocolate for breakfast. It's got this gentle stimulant called theobromine. You can think of it as caffeine's much calmer cousin. It gives you a mild lift without any of the jitters. But here's the double whammy. It also helps release serotonin, the feel-good hormone. So you're getting energy and a mood boost. It's a win-win. You know, if coffee is a sprinter, then oats are the marathon runner. Because they're a complex carb, they release energy slowly and steadily all morning long. And that means no spike, and more importantly, no crash. But it's not just the carbs. Oats are also packed with B vitamins, iron, and magnesium, all of which are key players in your body's energy production factory. A bowl of oatmeal is truly like a calm, powerful engine that just keeps you going. You should never underestimate these tiny powerhouses. Nuts and seeds are incredibly dense with healthy fats, protein, and minerals that your body needs to literally create its own energy. Just a small handful can keep your mind sharp and stop those energy dips in their tracks. And here's that key distinction again. Nuts supply real fuel to your system. Coffee, as we're about to see, just borrows energy that you don't actually have. And finally, let's talk about yogurt. It might seem like a weird choice for an energy food, but it's a secret weapon for sure. Why? Well, it's all about the protein and probiotics that support a healthy gut. And here's the thing. A healthy gut is absolutely essential for absorbing all the nutrients from your food that you need for energy. It just makes being awake feel comfortable and calm, not chaotic and jittery. Okay, so we've seen all these amazing foods, but what's the actual science here? Why are they so different from coffee? What is really going on inside your brain when you grab a banana instead of a latte? Let's get into it.
First things first, we need to talk about a chemical called adenosine. It's actually pretty simple. As you go about your day, adenosine slowly builds up in your brain, and the more of it you have, the sleepier you feel. It's basically your body's natural sleep timer.
And this, right here, shows the fundamental difference. Coffee doesn't actually give you energy. It just tricks your brain. Caffeine works by blocking those adenosine receptors so your brain can't feel how tired you actually are. It's essentially taking out a loan on energy from later in the day. Energizing foods, though, they go after the real causes of fatigue, like low blood sugar or missing nutrients, by supplying your body with actual, real fuel.
So now that you know all of this, you can start to really rethink that morning routine. Look, this isn't about making coffee the enemy. It's about empowering yourself with other options so you can wake up naturally and feel genuinely, truly good.
So if you take away one thing, let it be this. Coffee is not your only option. Not by a long shot. Foods like fruits and oats and eggs, they energize you in a much more balanced, sustainable way. They nourish your body instead of just pushing it harder. So maybe tomorrow, just try reaching for your plate before you reach for your cup.
And I'll leave you with this question to think about. Is your morning a fresh start, a chance to really fuel your body and your mind for the day ahead? Or does it feel more like a caffeine emergency? The choice might just be sitting there on your breakfast plate.